at SiGMA 2018, and we're here with Alex Cohen and Steve Cutler from Kalamba Games. Can you tell me about Kalamba Games and the company's journey so far in the iGaming sector?
Kalamba Games was founded by Alex Cohen and myself in December 2016. What Alex and I identified when we decided to come back into real money gambling, because the pair of us had spent the previous 2.5 years working in social casino. Prior to that, we were also in real money. I was at Unibet, Alex was at Quickspin. And we saw there were some gaps in the market, particularly for games that focused on integrated retention and engagement features. So we decided, well, look, we'll go into slots. It's still a big market, albeit very competitive. And the opportunity for us there was the fact that, yes, there are a lot of competitors out there, but we now have the opportunity to build a brand new framework, bring the sort of games to markets that ultimately just help the players' retention, their engagement, and really the bottom line for the operator, because it's no longer about acquisition, ultimately. It's about retaining your players for longer. And that's really sort of what the ethos of Kalamba Games is creating games that, you know, really sort of touch upon those relevant KPIs and help the operators, you know, be a lot more profitable in the long term. But what's most important, it actually helps them have a happier, more engaged player base. And that was, you know, how we approached our game design from the start. We're fortunate, obviously, to build our own brand new technologies. I mean, Alex can probably explain a bit more about that. But no, it's, you know, within a 1.5 years, we were already, I think, 7 or 8 games in. Our main supplier is Oryx Gaming. Yeah, we've had an interesting journey so far. It's been, I'd say, pretty successful in all fairness. We've had a very good hit rate. We see very good results from our games. And I can't say otherwise that we are very happy so far with what we've managed to achieve. Still a long way to go. But yeah, no, Kalamba, that's what we're all about. It's about creating good fun games that bring a lot of the proven social mechanics to real money.
How are you finding SiGMA?
Well, it's probably my 3rd or 4th SiGMA now, and I've seen it grow over the years. This year, it seems to be the biggest. Great place to meet new people, but primarily to catch up with industry contacts, have meetings, and really just sort of see how the competition, what they're up to, what opportunities there could potentially lie for us as a game supplier, see what the other game producers are doing. But it's, no, SiGMA is very good. It's definitely improved over the years. I wouldn't say necessarily improved, it's always been pretty good. It's just got bigger and bigger. But no, I'll always come back to SiGMA. I'm based here in Malta now anyway, so for me it's one of the key events of the year, obviously. ICE coming up next, I believe, in February. But no, SiGMA is always productive. It can often be a bit hot, so unless you're used to it, then yeah, you probably have to sort of try and cool yourself down. But no, it's definitely been worthwhile. You know, I've met quite a few new, interesting people. But like I said, it's just as these events are, you walk around and you're just constantly bumping into people who you know. So it's always good to catch up with people. No, I enjoy it. It's great fun.
Can you tell me about your social casino style features?
Yes, so we started out Kalamba looking at retention and, you know, as a secondary mechanic, monetization as a KPI that we wanted to target here. So coming from social casino, we had a few tricks up our sleeve that are used very commonly there to build up, first of all, session length and then longer term engagement with games. So a lot of those involve some kind of saved progress, some kind of collection that a player is gathering throughout one session, and ideally through multiple sessions. We looked in terms of having different promotional features that are available in the game that are very important for an operator to be able to run a regular promotion schedule using the games, using some mechanics there. And yeah, we approached the games as basically a mechanic to drive operator KPIs, and so far it's been very successful for our operators.
You've had a great success so far. What makes Kalamba Games different?
Well, we started from the point of view of taking the social casino style features that we understood worked well in that market and applying them to real money. I think beyond that, both Steve and I bring operational experience to the world of being a supplier, which I think is a bit of a distinguishing factor among many suppliers. So we understand the pains that an operator would have, and we understand how new content gets approached from an operator perspective. So taking that into account, we designed our games with it in mind. Okay, how does this game improve an operator's KPIs? What is it targeted towards? How does it do that? Or at least what is it meant to do? And then coming out of the result of that, we look to see, did that actually work? How could we improve that? How can we learn from that to put that into other games? It's a very KPI-driven product and development process, which is not uncommon to operators, but we believe it's very unique to suppliers. So taking that into account, we have our first games, which of course were targeted more towards engagement and retention, and we've gradually introduced more features that are more to appeal to VIPs and players that are, say, very mature with the product, and we've seen very good results there. So we have a wide range of products that whatever KPI an operator is looking to boost or to see if they can get a little improvement, we have some product that is relevant for them to do that. Okay.
That's you again. What makes a supplier successful in this industry?
Well, it starts from the point of view, I think, of having a very well-executed product. So having a product with very good math, graphics, sound, development framework, paying attention to the right marks in UI, taking care to have an experience for players that works across a broad range of, say, mobile devices or connection speeds. All of those types of factors that are very important to the player experience. Beyond that, we look at it in terms of having that good execution, plus having a bit of an edge. Any supplier needs to come into a crowded market looking at what makes them unique, how are they doing things a little bit different, a little bit better than the competition. And from what we see from other companies that have been successful along with ourselves, they each do something that's a little bit different, and each of them may do something similar, but it's each varied from what these others are doing.
You have 12 games in your portfolio right now. Can you tell me about the studio where you create these games?
Prior to founding Kalamba, I was based in Krakow. I was working there for a pretty large social casino. Alex was working for a larger social casino who was my competitor. So I had the experience with the marketplace there. What I noticed was that the Polish are very well educated, very hardworking. They know their stuff, and for me it was a no-brainer to build a studio there because we know that we could find the talent. We know that we could, find the sort of people who, if they didn't have the experience, definitely had the drive, dedication, and the intelligence to become a pretty awesome team. So we're now sort of 15, 16, mixture of front, back-end developers, game artists, product owners, etc. And no, we're very, very happy with the team so far. They're all pretty young, which is always good. And no, they're an interesting bunch. They work hard, they play hard, as we've noticed the last couple of days. I've been over here in Malta. But no, we're very, very happy because Krakow is, it's also quite a startup hub. There's a few other gaming studios there. Our friends at Yggdrasil, NetEnt have a studio there. SG Digital now have a studio. There are one or two others, I think, who also have studios there. But no, I mean, it's a great place to be based. Krakow is a lovely city, and it's a good vibe. The team is, I think we're very, very happy with the team so far. We're going to be, I think, we'll probably nearly double the team size over the next 12 to 18 months in Krakow. We've got a lovely office there, and I think so far so good. It was the right choice, at least, anyway, because the other main thing with the Polish is that generally they can speak incredibly good English. Very similar to the Swedish. They grow up hearing English. A lot of their films and TV is in English. So the quality of English is absolutely excellent. So there's never been any communication barriers. And, they're very smart, hardworking, very dedicated, and loyal. And we're a decent bunch to work with. No, we love it. We're very happy with them.
How do you approach engagement and long-term monetization?
Well, First of all, we understand that a lot of operators have players coming with different levels of experience, different, say, acquisition cohorts, and so we try to make games that fit into each range of those. So we have a number of games that are, first of all, good for retention. We've seen in the metrics for those that they have longer session length, that they work to engage players over a longer period. We have some other games where they have a different volatility profile depending on how you choose to bet. So for example, for a new player, the game could have, say, a lower volatility profile, and that's decided through player interaction. They can choose if they want to have a lower bet, choose with a less volatile profile, or if they want to make a larger bet and have a higher volatility profile. The flexibility that gives to an operator is to migrate a player through their life cycle. So you can use the same game, the same promotions, just set up different types of free rounds awards to make sure that different players get the right type of rewards for whichever particular profile they have.
Which brands and partners are you working with?
Well, we started out on the Oryx distribution, of course, and most of their operators are facing Germany. So we have, for example, Online Casino Deutschland, Cherry Group, a number of operators with them as well. So that's the core that we work with. Over time, we've added Veer and John. We've added a number of operators through iSoftBet. We're always looking to engage with new distribution partners there through Oryx or through Relax, who is our second distribution partner now. We have our first game live with them, Monkey God, and we have our second game going live with Relax in January. And from there, we'll have a pretty regular roadmap with them. They, of course, have a large penetration in Scandinavia, so we expect to have most of the brands covering Scandinavia available within the coming 6 months.
Can you tell us why you choose Malta to open your new office?
When I worked at Unibet, I used to come here a lot. Unibet had an office here, so I'd say on average I would come here 4 or 5 times a year at least. So I knew Malta. I've always loved the place. It's different but very interesting, good fun. Culturally very profound in many respects. But from a company perspective, most of the gaming companies have an office here, or they definitely have some form of their operation based here in Malta. So when we're looking at being a game supplier and having a lot of these B2C brands based here in Malta, quite naturally it's one of the better places to be based. So, we're always close to our contacts. It makes life a lot easier for myself and for, our CCO, Giles. And look, there are obviously other benefits. Malta's been one of the longer established gaming jurisdictions. They're very savvy in how they approach gaming. I mean, you've seen that recently with their new sort of licensing structures, simplified things, made it a lot easier to attract new operators in. I mean, we've seen obviously Bet365 come recently, mainly probably because of Brexit and Gibraltar, and there's a few question marks there. But from an infrastructure perspective, very good, very well established. Of course, there are financial benefits quite naturally for being based in Malta. But all in all, apparently it does shine 300 days a year. The Polish team are happy. So, no, Malta's, the ideal place to be based for all those sort of reasons. Yeah.
Which brands and partners are you working with?
Our two main distribution partners right now are Oryx Gaming and Relax Gaming. So Oryx, we have coverage of the German market very well as Southeastern Europe, expanding into Scandinavia, a bit of Asia, a bit of the UK as well. Relax Gaming covers the Scandinavian market extremely well and has all of the large operators there. We have 12 games live on Oryx to date, and we have 1 game right now live on Relax. Our second game is coming out in January, and from there we'll be releasing about a game every other month. The main operators that they plug into are, of course, the main operators facing Germany on the Oryx side and mostly in Scandinavia on the Relax side.
Lastly, what does the future hold for Kalamba?
Well, obviously we have a very solid roadmap of content coming out, a lot of exciting new features, new games. We'll be pushing very hard on our new distribution partner, Relax, while also continuing to push hard on our existing distribution partner, Oryx. Oryx is, of course, trying to expand their network, getting a lot of new operators live. And Oryx, we're seeing wider penetration into their network. We're seeing our first games perform extremely well on Kindred Group, for example, as well as a few others. We're, beyond just having the content as far as the number of games, we'll be experimenting with new features, of course, to boost different KPIs in different ways. So still harking back to engagement, monetization, other metrics that operators would be concerned with, that's where we expect to see our content of the future going, is to find different ways to appeal in that regard while still keeping a bit of a nose ahead of the competition.
Well, it's definitely exciting times ahead for Kalamba. I mean, recently we took on an investment from Verini and RB Capital, which has given us now, the runway, so to speak, to ramp up operations in Poland. So, and various games and platforms that we're going to be sort of developing over the next few months. So that puts us in a position where we can be a lot more competitive. The first 2 years has been a lot about bootstrapping, really sort of getting our framework, or the core elements of everything that we try to deliver in place, testing a lot of features that we've delivered in our first 12 games. So not only is it going to be about optimizing on what we've learned so far, but obviously now we've got the more of a financial ability to really start ramping up both our operations here in Malta, obviously the team in Krakow. So 2019 is critical in many respects for us to realize the dream that we've always had. We never just wanted to be purely a games company, and this the investment has now enabled us to basically speed that up. I mean, it was going to happen, but we can pretty well push the timeline forward by sort of a year to 18 months. So it's exciting times ahead. The company's going to get bigger. We're still going to be young at heart, and we're going to be very agile, etc. But it's exciting for the team as well. Exciting for Alex and I, because it's been 2 years of very hard work. We've had to be really strict on how we approach things, maintaining the cost centers, etc. You always do need to maintain cost centers, but we are in a position now where we can be a lot more competitive, and particularly when it comes to, being able to attract some really sort of star personnel. We've got some very, very talented people who are going to be joining us over the next 3 to 4 months. So it is very exciting for, both Alex and I, the team, and really it's just interesting to see what will happen. But 2019 is definitely the year that will be not a make and break, but it will help us realize some of those dreams a lot faster.
Thank you, Alex. Thank you, Steve. We're SiGMA TV here with Kalamba Games at SiGMA 2018.